11 games and 6 straight series. Sometimes their success is the result of a top-notch pitching staff. And other times, it's because they have so many players contributing on offense. Tonight, they return home to welcome in the Yankees. Gio Gonzalez gets the call, hoping to maintain the excitement in his dugout.
Yeah, some people say it's just another ball game, but hey, the Yankees are in town. Bryce Harper and the Nats only get to see him every 3 years, so it's very special. Interleague play to have the most dominant team in the history of baseball in our ballpark. Bob and FP, they both have the same records, but the Yanks have lost 5 of 6. The Nats on a big-time roll with Bryce Harper leading the way, and he's been amazing.
Yeah, the Yanks headed in one direction, the Nats headed in the other direction, so we'll see what happens here tonight.
All right, the bad news is Jason Worth is on the DL, took that pitch off the left wrist. He's got a contusion and on the disabled list.
Yeah, he was diving out for a 3-2 curveball, and that fastball just kind of ran all over his hands, hit his wrist, and he was going to miss a week anyways, and I think he retroactive it back to Saturday, and Matt Williams probably didn't want to play with 24 guys for a week, so they put him on the DL, and now Wilmer Difo is here to take his place.
Yeah, can't wait to see him. He had a nice round of batting practice today, first day in the big leagues. Bryce Harper's first day in the big leagues was a little over 3 years ago. We always forget how young he is, and FP, he looks like an MVP-type player. I mean, you might as well talk about it because everybody around baseball is.
Yeah, it might be a little bit early, but why not? We got nothing else to talk about. His bats have been an event in and of themselves when he comes up to the plate, whether he's arguing with an ump, whether he's eyeballing pitches at half an inch off the plate or hitting taters. He's been fun to watch. So, I mean, the hottest guy in all of baseball. And I mean, right now there's two things. They're playing well. They're winning games, and Bryce Harper's at bats. I mean, you can't miss him. Even the swinging bunts are exciting. Watch the fist pump after the swinging bunt. He's locked in.
And then, of course, going the opposite way, 2 opposite field homers during this hot streak by Bryce. He's the National League Player of the Week for the 2nd consecutive week, and not, you know, why not with numbers like that? So here's Harper as far as the league rankings go. Batting average, on-base percentage, homers, RBIs, you name it, Bryce Harper doing it. Gio has not had a good career against the Yankees. He's 1-5, but most of that when he was with Oakland in the American League. So that's long gone history. It's Gio and the Nats on a roll with the Yankees in town for the first of 2.
on Masson, brought to you by PNC Bank, for the achiever in you, and by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. Muggy night, clear night. Anybody gets a hold of one tonight, the ball's going to go a long, long way. It feels like summertime in Washington, D.C. The Yankees are hitting .245. Well, there's the Nats lineup. And this is how they'll line up when they come up in the bottom of the first inning. Washington 6th in the league at .262. First in runs and third in home runs. Yankees are hitting .245. They're 9th in the American League, but they're in the top 5 in runs and the top 3 in home runs. And Jacoby Ellsbury hitting .367 his last 23 games. So it's a pretty good Yankee lineup, even though against the left-hander Gio. A-Rod, National League ballpark, not playing. Carlos Beltran, switch hitter, who's hot, not in there as well. Here comes the first pitch, and we're underway with a fastball up and away.
I see the arsenal for Gio Gonzalez. Last start to that fastball 62% of the time. It averaged 92 miles an hour. Curveball 79, changeup 84.
Swing and a miss on a pitch away to Ellsbury. So Gio, 1-5 career against the Yankees with a .675 ERA. Hasn't faced them in a while. 0-9. His first and only victory against them. 2 balls, 1 strike. Ellsbury's .327, 9th highest in the American League, and he's 4th in on-base percentage at .411. There's a veteran crew chief behind the plate, 27th year for Jim Joyce. 16th year, Marvin Hudson at first, Chris Siegel at second, and the 8th year for Chad Fairchild, umpiring over at third. Yankees on the road, 13-10, most road wins of any team in baseball. That curveball almost hit Ellsbury. And the Nats at home are 10-6. Joe Girardi's team losing 5 of its last 6, coming off a rough weekend in Kansas City. Up the middle, Gio tried to kick save. Espinosa gets there, fires, got him on a close play.
Oh, what a great play by Danny Espinosa. You're thinking this is an infield single for Ellsbury all the way, but watch, he goes to the backhand side. Strong arm going away for the play, and Ellsbury can run. That's a guy with 14 stolen bases trying to leg it out, and that's how this one starts. Nice play by Danny Espinosa. Will set the rest of the defense for you behind him. Taylor, Span, Harper the outfield. Desmond Escobar left side. You just saw Espinosa. Brian Zimmerman at first, and Wilson Ramos behind the plate.
Yeah, Michael A. Taylor will see lots of time in left field now with Jason Worth out. Here's another guy who can run, and that's Brett Gardner. He's been on base 20 consecutive games and hitting .303.
It's always hard as an infielder when you get a tough chance right out of the gate, first hit of the game. That's just called being ready to play baseball. You like to ease into a game, get a routine ground ball to start things up with. Not that one. Nice play.
Yeah, at first it looked like it was going to go through, and then Danny got to it. Boy, that arm will make up for some balls all over the infield when he can get a hold of it. Brett Gardner against Gio. 2 for 5 career with a couple of walks. Jammed him, and a little pop fly about 3 rows over the dugout, strike 2. So Gardner's hitting .303. His on-base percentage is .380. So the Yankees table setters have been doing the job. Espinosa. Not an easy play, but a little easier than the first one. 2 down. Clear skies for the most part. 82 degrees. Humidity 47%. Breeze doesn't have the flags doing much of anything right now. It's just a great baseball night. Next up is the right fielder, Chris Young. Saw him in the National League a long time with Arizona from 2008 until 12. Oakland after that, and split time between the Mets and the Yankees last year. He was designated for assignment by the Mets August 9th, released 6 days later. Yankees picked him up, and he had .282 with 10 RBIs in 23 games down the stretch. Bouncing ball. Gio gets 3 grounders. Desmond takes care of that. And what a good start for Gio Gonzalez. Nathan Eovaldi against a hot Nats lineup in a moment. Almost all of his career homers as a Yankee now have come in the Bronx. More on that later. Here's Denard Span, 31 hits in 22 games. He's been on base in 20 of them, and in his last 6 games he's had at least 2 hits every time. Sporting a .379 on base percentage. Inside 2-0. Nats have been watching Eovaldi ever since he was 21 years old with the Dodgers 4 years ago, so he's been around for a while, and just over 25. Denard 5 for 16 career against him, and that's strike one. Only the Blue Jays have scored more runs now in all of Major League Baseball than your Nats. 194 Washington, Toronto 210. Span a bouncer, 2 hops right to the second baseman Perella. Inside the numbers, brought to you by Jeep. First inning runs this year, the Nats right up there. But look at the Yankees. So that was big for Gio to shut them down on 3 ground balls. Nats did a good job against the Padres, except for 1 inning the other night, and Washington right in there, and the most since May 10th. Well, let's see if this lineup shift with Worth gone really jumpstarts Ian Desmond. He is 6 for his last 17 with a 4-game hitting streak. But you bat second in front of Escobar, Harper, and Zimmerman. That could be a catbird seat for him. Goes up ripping, look out.
So the Yankees started this whole mustache craze. Brett Gardner actually started it. He said, I feel like growing a stash. Well, it's all they did was sweep the Rays and sweep the Red Sox. They went 13-3 when they started growing stashes. So if you don't know, Yankees can't grow facial hair. They grow mustaches, no beards. If you look around, they are all sporting some serious stashes.
Yeah, but what do you do when you've lost 5 out of 6?
Oh, I don't know. They're bringing the stash back. I think of Yankees and mustaches. I think of Goose Gossage and
Thurman Munson.
Thurman Munson.
Yeah. Breaking ball way outside, 2-1.
But they're all having fun with it, and that's as much facial hair as they can have. So in an era where everyone's wearing beards in baseball, the Yankees are rocking the stashes, and you know what? I kind of like it.
Desmond 3 for 15 career against Eovaldi with a couple of walks. And it goes 98 heater. 98, but it was way outside, 3-1.
Yeah, he was fed up with the whole stash thing. He just said, you know what? I used to play for the Yankees, and I'm going full metal beard.
Yeah, Matt Thornton seeing some of his old teammates here. Desmond cracks one out to right center. Heading for the scoreboard. Gone! Ian Desmond opposite field with his third of the year. Yeah, he might like that number 2 spot in the lineup.
Yeah, he likes fastballs. Jose Lobaton goes, or was that Wilson Ramos went helmet taker off for a guy like it? And there goes the no-hitter in a big way here against the Yankees in Game 1. Ian Desmond with the opposite field home run. And Carp, you said it was going to carry tonight. It's warm, it's humid. That ball got in the jet stream. I thought it was a double, ended up being a homer.
Yeah, Jacoby Ellsbury stopped after about 3 steps and just watched that one rocket its way out of here. So Ian Desmond with his 94th career home run. The Nats have hit their 42nd. Third in the league behind the Dodgers and the Reds. Here's Escobar, who's hit .397 his last 14 games. Facing Eovaldi for the first time.
You know, a lot of times the hardest part about interleague play is facing the pitcher you normally don't face. But with Eovaldi, that's not the case. With the Marlins all those years, they've seen him, they know him, they've faced him a number of times. So there's a familiarity that usually isn't there.
Yeah, we could take that one step further, too. Here's a fly ball right field for Chris Young. Eovaldi started 4 times against the Nats just last year.
Let's check out the tater off the bat of Ian Desmond. Fastball right down the middle. And Ian Desmond never met a fastball he didn't like. And he let that one get deep. And you kind of knew as soon as he hit it, it had a chance, but you're wondering if it was high enough with that big wall in right center. 102 miles an hour off the bat. Ball's crushed.
Nathan Eovaldi giving up his 6th homer of the year. Bryce Harper career's been pretty good against him, 5 for 13 with a walk, and the shift is on the infield. Starts him with a breaking ball.
So what does one base hit bunt do for your shift? I mean, you got to leave him there. Usually he plays over here. Now that Bryce showed he can base hit bunt, he's got the whole left side to hit.
Target on the outside edge. And by the way, if you're wondering about not even throwing anything to Bryce and taking on Zimmerman, well, Ryan is 3 for 8 career against Eovaldi with 2 home runs. So there's some history in the on-deck circle as well. 1 ball, 1 strike.
The thing that Bryce has done best for me this year is he's covered the inside fastball. He doesn't have to rush to it, whether it's upper 90s or not. And as a left-handed hitter, any hitter, you can cover that pitch. It allows you to get to everything else. He doesn't have to cheat or rush to get to a fastball in because his bat is so quick.
Harper to right center. This ball's got some carry, and it is gone. Another homer for Bryce Harper, number 15. 2-0 Nationals.
Unbelievable.
He's the early favorite for National League Player of the Week this week.
I said it yesterday in San Diego. In the minor leagues, when you're better than the level you're playing at, you get called up. Bryce Harper's better than the level he's playing at right now, but there's just nowhere to get called up to. 15th home run of the year.
And by the way, the Yankees are thinking about challenging this FP because there was a fan reaching near the green strip out there, and I think the Yankees might come out and challenge this, thinking it might be a double. But
I think Joe's just asking the ground rules real quick.
That green strip is a home run.
Yeah, and I think that's what he's checking with, talking to Jim Joyce. Okay, what's the ground rules in right field before I review this or not? And usually first game in, you go over the ground rules at home, but let's check it out. I mean, I think it's over. That guy's behind it.
That's beyond the
I don't think there's a question. I understand Girardi's line of thinking here, but he just wanted to get it clear with Jim Joyce. And, yep, we're on the phone. He caught a homer. It was Bryce's. It was number 15.
Well, and again, and we've talked about this a few times over the years, to give you a little history in this ballpark, when Nationals Park opened in 2008, that was a silver aluminum strip at the top of the scoreboard. It kind of slants back, and if it hits that, it's going to go out of the ballpark. But at the request of the umpires back then, after the first few series here, they painted it green to make the ball more seeable or obvious when it's up against that green strip.
Zoom it in for me. I just know that guy's behind the green wall, so it's a homer. So you see how he goes down below it? Keep going. Let it run. Let it run. Watch him fall behind the fence so that the metal fence is behind the green fence. It's not right up next. See how he goes below it a little bit right there? So then it's a home run. I mean, because what, is there about a foot there?
It's a homer, they rule. So Joe Girardi is out of challenges now, and the Nats have blasted a couple here to go up by 2.
Okay, forget about where the home run went. Let's watch the swing. You talk about just touching a ball and keeping your hands back. Look at the location of that pitch. Brian McCann's ready to dig this out of the dirt. And once again, we see Bryce Harper just smooth the ball out of here with about a 70% swing. That's how strong he is, and that's kind of how his home runs have gone this year. Unbelievable.
Ryan Zimmerman, first pitch hunting. I wonder if I know exactly what the first 4 words were in Brian McCann's mind as he saw that ball. He had to say to himself, are you kidding me? Because he, like you said, he's going down in the dirt, and Bryce Harper puts it in the bleachers. 96. No balls, 2 strikes.
Okay, let's check it out from the side. Watch him keep his hands back. Okay, he just saw 98 in. 98. So he's gearing up for a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. Whoops, I'm fooled. Keep my hands back and just reach down. And he's got such good balance throughout the swing. His head's not moving. And he's the best player on the planet. I don't care what anybody says right now.
Bryce Harper started this season with 55 career home runs in 3 years. He's now at 70. 40 games into the 2015 season.
Don't forget Mookie Betts robbed him in Boston. He should have 16.
Yeah. No balls, 2 strikes to Zimmerman. That's a nasty breaking ball, and Ryan does a good job to extend and stay alive. Bryce Harper, by the way, came into that at bat hitting .350 against right-handers. And he's now scored his 37th run, the most in baseball. Another extra base hit gives him 24. The numbers are just staggering what he's doing. 0-2 to Zimmerman again. And he will reach and hit that one. Look at this ball carry. Ryan hit that ball about 380. So muggy summer weather has arrived in D.C. Ian Desmond goes the other way for a rocket. That thing over the 15-foot scoreboard. 1 out later, Bryce Harper goes down. The ball goes up and out. And the Nats blast their way to a 2-0 lead.
One from Bryce Harper. American Standard, who's hot, who's not? Celebrate the season with American Standard's All-Star Sales Event. Visit MidAtlanticComfort.com for amazing rebate and financing opportunities. Last 6 games, Yankees, no bueno. 1-5 record, 215 average, 237 with runners in scoring position. And the Nats, as we've chronicled, are on fire. The Yankees just finished 30 games in 31 days, so maybe they're a little tired at the end of that streak.
Gio Gonzalez starting the ball game, throwing 4 ground balls. Mark Teixeira out in a hurry there. Teixeira came into that at bat only 8 for 40 from the right side of the plate. Big crowd at Nationals Park on a beautiful baseball night. First of 2 against the Yanks. A rather odd 5-game homestand with another day off on Thursday, and then the Phillies in for the weekend. There's Brian McCann, who in his career with the Yankees since joining them at the start of last year has hit 27 home runs. 23 of them have been at Yankee Stadium.
But he's been scuffling. The top of the Yankees order has been getting it done. Ellsbury, Gardner, A-Rod, Teixeira. It's the bottom part of the order with McCann hitting 237, Headley 236.
From right field, Danny Espinosa. Has Gio ever started a game with 5 ground balls that we can remember? I look back at the road trip. The Nats scored 53 runs in 7 games, 15 of 19, 6 straight series. As I mentioned, only Toronto now more runs than the Nats. In the last 3 games of that series, they outscored the Padres by a 4-1 margin.
But Gio's got a good sinker going down the zone with that 2-seamer, turn it over nice. A little 2-run cushion to work with.
And by the way, it was interesting. Thanks to our stat guy Carter Myers for this one. In that San Diego series, the Nats used each of their relievers just 1 time in that series. Bullpen's rested, starters looking good, and Gio, he'll get credit for another ground ball out there. 6 of them to start the game.
This year he's ready. Call him up. 2-0 Nats, bottom of the second. When the Nats win, everyone wins all season long. When the Nationals win and score 7 or more runs, you get 50% off regular menu price online orders at papajohns.com by entering promo code NATS50. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza. Your Washington Nationals. Mom wants a high five because he just went deep.
18-game hitting streak for Wilson Ramos. 26 hits, batting average of .371. Up the middle, to his left. Well played by Stephen Drew, who's always been a very good defensive shortstop. They just need him to hit more than $177. Ramos out on 1 pitch.
Well, the Yankees haven't been catching the ball well. Last 4 games, they committed 5 errors. They have 28 on the season. And Chase Headley, their third baseman, has made 9 errors or 8 errors this year. He made 9 all last year. He's having trouble throwing the ball across the infield. 6 of his errors have been on throws.
Shift on for Danny Espinosa, and they almost had a dramatic right to left shift going for Wilson Ramos. So Joe Girardi moving his defense all over the place here. Danny Espinosa needs to do something against Nathan Eovaldi, who has struck him out 3 times, and Danny's 0 for 7 career against him. But I would venture to say that in those at bats, Espinosa wasn't swinging the way he is right now. .333 over his last 18 games.
Danny Espinosa is the most underrated story, the most under the radar story, maybe in baseball, but for sure on the Nats with what Bryce Harper's doing. He's putting together a nice little first half of the season. 275, 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, playing second base as good as anybody in baseball.
2-0, and there's the shift. Handled by Drew, the shortstop, on the right field side of second base.
Have you seen the new team store cart right out there in left center field under the parking garage? It's open, folks, located across from the red porch near the center field gate. Features nearly 6,000 square feet of the hottest Nats merchandise, clothing for the whole family. To celebrate the team store opening and as a special thank you to our fans, Bob and I, are offering an exclusive deal on Under Armour t-shirts today and tomorrow only. All Under Armour t-shirts are $10 off.
Nice. First pitch slider, a swing and a miss to Michael A. Taylor, hitting .250. The man who rescued the game in Arizona with the grand slam. Michael trying to get aboard here to get Gio to the plate in the bottom of the second. 0 for 1 career against Nathan Eovaldi. And a swing and a miss. Carved up by the right-hander right there. Eovaldi, first strikeout. Yeah, the new team store. Harper a little higher than the other guys. Well, Scherzer's up there too. Strikes. All 6 outs on ground balls. Nats seeing the Yankees for the first time. Ryan Zimmerman, first time in 3 years, that is. First time they ever saw him. Ryan Zimmerman off Chin-Ming Wong hit a walk-off homer in Game 3. The Nats took 2 out of 3 from the Yankees at Yankee Stadium right after the ballpark opened. And then the Yankees swept here in 2012. As a future Nat at that time, Rafael Soriano had a couple of saves. So Zimmerman's been in the middle of this thing. So all time since the Nats were born, it's 5-4 Yankees. New York, by the way, the most successful interleague team of all time. with 194 wins, 131 losses, 597 winning percentage. Desmond, not a good throw. Zimmerman, yes, a good pick. 7 straight ground ball outs for Gio Gonzalez. Jose Perella out to start the 3rd.
A nice pick by Ryan Zimmerman right here. And yeah, it might not be a big deal, but when you start getting confidence in your first baseman, like they used to have in Adam LaRoche on picking balls in the dirt, now as an infielder, you're more comfortable throwing it across there. And Ryan's done a nice job of doing just what you saw right there for a guy that's never played. He just uses such a small first baseman's mitt. I don't think I've ever seen one that small. Usually first baseman get a big old picker, but as a former third baseman, he's used to having a small glove. But doesn't that look like tiny for a first baseman's glove? Look how small that thing is.
I guess it's about the hand in the glove, isn't it? Soft hands of Ryan Zimmerman. By the way, with Zimmerman and Mark Teixeira, 2 of the great defensive first basemen right now, the way they're playing in all of baseball. Teixeira's been outstanding for a number of years, and Ryan getting to that point. This looks like an infield drill. 8 ground ball outs, and Stephen Drew is thrown out by Ian Desmond.
But you see what that throw was, to my point? Right on the money. So you have a guy pick you up. You know if you have a guy that can pick you up, it relaxes you as an infielder, and now you throw the next one on the money. And we're showing you this because, like Bob said, it's like fungal practice right now. Gio's got the sinker working.
Wow. Nathan Eovaldi hasn't had an at-bat this year. He's an .085 career hitter with 1 RBI. Gio keeping the ball down beautifully so far.
Yeah, 8 ground outs.
Outside 2-0. Missing.
Thinking.
Yeah, sometimes a pitcher will aim the ball against the other pitcher. Just needs to get one in there. Might take care of the rest of the AB here. Target inner half right there. 3-2.
I kind of want a grounder out here. I don't think I've ever seen 9 ground balls in a row. There we go.
Danny Espinosa. Taylor, Span, and Harper take the night off. Gio's got this thing under control on the infield.
Never seen that.
Park. The Nationals offense has the 4th most strikeouts in Major League Baseball, but don't let that fool you. That's been an area that this team has really improved over the last few weeks. The Nats had the 2nd most strikeouts of any team in the majors in April, but in May they're now the 17th most strikeouts of any team. That's something that Matt Williams says he thinks is not just something that is based on team-wide approach, but more on change in having guys in the lineup, with Denard Span back, with Ryan Zimmerman getting into the flow, with Jason Wirtz seeing the ball better prior to his injury. He says the strikeouts have dropped, and that's important for him because the Nats put an emphasis this spring on putting the ball in play and situational hitting. That improvement is something that Matt Williams really likes to see.
And then a little bit of a glitch tonight with Jason Wirtz being put on the DL, but this is a deep organization. And when you're talking Cars, you're talking Coons. That's Dan with our Coons.com sideline report. Top of the order for the Yankees, Jacoby Ellsbury. Next inning, Gio, who will face him right here. And as we get the bottom of the third going, that will be ruled a swing. So 28 pitches, 18 strikes for Eovaldi, his first 2 innings. But Desmond and Harper both got him for home runs. Gio this year 0 for 9. 082 career hitter.
Skipper's starting to look more skipperish this year. I mean, he's got the stance down, the elbow on the rail, one on the knee. He's looking more managerish.
Okay. Fastball, 99.
As a rookie manager, you're still finding out where to stand in the dugout, you know, how to stand. You know, the whole Joe Torre thing where he crosses legs and have his big wristwatch and kind of sit in the corner of the dugout next to Zimmer. That's looking skipperish for sure. He's getting it down. I like it.
I like it. 5 in a row for Eovaldi now since the Harper homer. Span and Desmond the next 2 here in the third. First pitch breaking ball missing. Headley on the grass at third. Teixeira even with the bag at first. Denard can look out and kind of see how they want to pitch him. Outfield around to the left. You can see Ellsbury shading toward the left center gap. He'll show him 98 inside 2-0. Anthony Eovaldi career facing the Nats for the 8th time. He's 18-36 in 90 games, 86 starts previously. 2-4 against the Nats with a 4.76. He beat him once, had 2 losses and a no decision with the Marlins last year. That's a 1 hopper for Chase Headley because he was playing shallow. Easy play, 2 outs. Next up, Ian Desmond.
You wonder why the guy that throws 98 gets hit around a little bit like Eovaldi has throughout his career. He's done better this year with the Yankees. He's worked on his secondary pitches. As a hitter, it was always more comfortable to see a guy with a long arm action. And when you look at Eovaldi's windup, he takes the ball back almost behind him. And so as a hitter, when he goes back, you have plenty of time to go back yourself. He's not really rushing you. You know, I'd rather face a guy throwing 97 with a long arm stroke than a guy throwing 91 that throws out of his ear and kind of jumps at you. But watch how long his arm is right here. And it gives you as a hitter plenty of time to get ready. Watch where it goes so you have time.
That's foul. Ian Desmond jumping on a first pitch slider.
And the hard part, you used to face a guy like Billy Wagner that threw 98 out of his ear with a short arm. Now, as a hitter, you really got to kind of generate early on your own. But a guy with the long arm, you just kind of, he goes back, you go back, and you kind of get ready together.
Ian Desmond now has a 5-game hitting streak. He is 7 for his last 18.
So this is the long arm I'm talking about. I guess, hey, jump in the box with me real quick. That's what you're seeing. See him take that arm back. So I got tons of time as a hitter, even if it's 98, to get my swing to where it needs to be, get my foot down and be on time for 98.
0-2. Pretty good take by one of the world's most impatient hitters. Let's update the first inning run stat now. Since May 10th, 16 in the first.
That's just good coffee.
And that's only 9 days ago.
Just a good pot of coffee.
Time given there as Jim Joyce really went for a stroll. Now the umpire's allowed to leave the box if they didn't swing at the previous
That's a memo
pitch.
from the league. He did not have 2 feet in the box. He's going to have a note in his locker tomorrow, Jim Joyce.
1-2 pitch. Desmond looked like he stopped, and he did, says Marvin Hudson.
Check it out from the side.
Remember that at bat he had in the 6th inning in San Diego Sunday? Really worked for a walk. Right in the middle of those 3 in a row, and the Nats came up with a big inning then. That time 87 on the changeup got him. And Evaldi has settled down. 7 in a row for him. Middle innings now, 2-0 Nats. Strikes. Ramos up. Yankees top of the 4th in what they've done career against Gio. So Ellsbury now 2 for 8 with a walk. 3 strikeouts. Gardner 2 for 6, couple of walks. Chris Young 1 for 7, 2 walks, 3 strikeouts.
Don't forget this ground ball parade started with a really nice play by Danny Espinosa against Ellsbury in the 1st inning, going up the middle.
Jacoby Ellsbury, 8th year in the big leagues. First 6 with Boston. Yankees last year when he hit .271. .293 career hitter. And he'll reach 300 stolen bases this year. Gio takes a little bit off. A great changeup. Down and into a left-handed hitter.
I say it all the time. I love the changeup in. A lot of people don't throw the changeup in, but as a hitter, 99% of the time when you see a straight pitch in, it's a fastball, you see it, you gear up, your eyes are telling you it's a heater, and then you're way out in front. I think more guys should use it.
Fastball up 93. 2 balls, 1 strike. Well, the Nats trying to get a little help tonight. St. Louis leads at the Mets 2-0 2nd inning. Matt Harvey beat the Cardinals last night to keep the Mets ahead of the Nats. Right now it's 1 game in the East. And Gio walks Jacoby Ellsbury. Yankees have their first base runner, and he's 14 out of 19 stealing bags. Wilmer Difo called up today. .315 minor league career, .279. And he had already played at 2 levels of the Nationals organization. Hit .320 at Potomac in 19 games. Then he hit .308 at Harrisburg. Called up today. There's Wilmer.
I asked him how you say your name. I said Difo or Defoe. He said Defoe. So that's what I'm going with. And if you hear it any other way, he told me how to say it, and that's how I'm saying it. So I'm not going to pronounce his name the way people think I should. I'm going to pronounce it the way he told me to.
Exactly. So Defoe.
Yes.
Got it. Next to Lobaton.
Or big leaguer. Either way, congratulations.
He is described as a high energy guy who makes everybody around him a little bit better. What a compliment for a young player. Kind of interesting about Wilmer. 22 minor league home runs. 14 of them came last year. He put on some weight. He got stronger. And I was told today that he's one of the pound for pound FP in the weight room. He's one of the strongest guys in the entire organization.
He benches 720 pounds, I heard.
Wow, that's a lot.
That is.
Bouncing ball, Zimmerman. Thought about charging it hard. Maybe a play at second. Thought better of it. And laid back and got the sure out. Another ground ball out.
And if I can't say his last name, he's just going to be Wilmer. And I'll just leave it at that. And we hope we get to say it for a while because he's fun to watch play.
Boy, we were so impressed with him in spring training. Wilmer Difo.
Ellsbury, something going on at second base.
You know, he was acting funny on that swing FP on the changeup. And you remember Jim Joyce came out and swept off a spotless home plate to give the hitter some time. I think this goes back to that swing. He took a little stroll after that when Gio threw him that changeup. That's the last thing the Yankees need, is something to go wrong with Jacoby Ellsbury. So Joe Girardi, Tony Pena, and the trainer depart. Ellsbury at second base, one out for Chris Young. Young, a bouncing ball to Ian Desmond. And the Nats will do a little infield shifting here. Look at Danny Espinosa right behind the base runner and the bag. Gio. And that looked like a cross-up on a breaking ball to Wilson Ramos.
Go back to Jacoby Ellsbury and the swing he just took. I didn't see anything, but maybe we'll see something here. Yeah, something grabbed. And it looked like his right leg, huh? He hopped on it.
Yeah, I just thought something weird was happening when Jim Joyce came out and dusted off home plate. And obviously Gio and Ramos were okay. So the umpires will give catchers a little extra time and hitters as well when something goes awry. Now Danny Espinosa a little more to the pull side on a 1-0 count. That ball scorched to center. Ellsbury kind of taking it easy around third. He'll just trot in and touch home plate, and it's a 2-1 game. The walk comes back to hurt on Chris Young's 13th RBI.
A nice piece hit by Chris Young. Just takes a ball down the zone. You saw where the pitch location was on the Mercedes-Benz pitch track, and Ellsbury coming around third, not looking too healthy, and we'll see if he stays in the game. Yankees on the board.
Next up, the man who shook his hand there, Mark Teixeira. Gio misses outside. Teixeira, second in the American League, along with Alex Rodriguez, with 19 extra base hits.
There's questions whether he was going to play today or not. He left Sunday's game with a bruised big toe, hit a foul ball. Or he's hitting the foot, excuse me, by Edinson Volquez by a pitch in the fourth. Stay in the game, was lifted in the bottom of the seventh for Garrett Jones. X-rays were negative. Joe Girardi wondering after the day off how he'd feel. Well, he knows he's in the game.
Mark Teixeira has not played more than 123 games since 2011. So Gio goes 3-0 here. And a walk has already cost him a run here in the fourth.
Might be swinging, heads up.
Too low. 2 walks, a base hit in between. And the Yankees are getting back into the game here without having to swing the bat much. Next up is Brian McCann.
Well, when you have 10 ground ball outs, Gio Gonzalez looking for number 11, a double play, 75% fastball. I see him tell himself to calm down, relax, get back in that zone. He knows he's one good sinker away from getting out of this inning.
Brian McCann has bounced into 2 double plays. And Gio misses again. Here comes Ramos. Something's out of whack, and Steve McCaddy too.
This is just a settle down trip. Gio, if you don't know, very excitable left-hander. When things start to go south, he's been better later in his career putting the wheels back on, and that's exactly why Steve McCatty's out there. Hey, one good pitch. Let's go. Get a ground ball.
That's in a shift that you would see against a lefty, even though there's a lefty on the mound. Kind of interesting that the Nationals are shifting on defense against the Yankees, maybe more than we've seen them against any other ball club.
Well, I think we should stop showing shifts and show when teams are playing straight up.
1 ball, 1 strike.
Because everybody shifts and everyone's playing everywhere. And
you know, but you chronicled the Nats' defensive problems early in the season when everybody was here and there. And as soon as they kind of got away from the shiftage, things got a whole lot better on the infield.
Yeah, that was last year, being the season.
2-1. How to play over the dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Well, Gio will often have an inning like this during the course of a game. He just gives up 1 run, no big deal. 3, 4, 5 coming up, bottom of the 4th. And a 2-2 here. Long look at the runner. Front door breaking ball, and Tony Pena skipping out of the way. Well, you'd have to say mediocre against both, huh? Although against lefties, if you're doing damage against right-handers, you'll take 241. Had him reaching. Desmond Espinosa. Zimmerman, a good pick, but a little too late at first base on what would have been one of the most interesting double play balls of the year.
Well, good effort by Espinosa. Nice play by Desmond. But Teixeira bearing down on him. So because this took so long to develop, look at Espinosa to the blind side. And he knew Teixeira was coming. He just didn't know where he was at. Look at these guys back to the plate. Where's that big first baseman? Oh, there he is. And I got to get out of the way. Nice pick by Zimmerman. But a nifty turn by Espinosa to make it that closer to even think about trying to turn that. A lot of second basemen will just stretch like a first baseman and get out of there.
And then at the tail end of the play, I saw Ryan Zimmerman pick that ball, and then he popped up and took a quick look to make sure Chris Young was not heading around third or beyond. Ryan is showing all the instincts of a guy who seems like he's played first base for a long time. Chase Edley hit a comeback or a line drive. First time up to Gio knocked down and then threw him out. So another ground ball out, all 11 so far. Best fastball of the night, 93 up and in. Chase Edley, another guy who's a switch hitter with power, but he's hitting under 200 from the right side. .30 pitches, first 3 innings. It'll be at least 25 here. Target in. That ball jacked into the corner. Game is tied. McCann heading for third. Michael A. Taylor gets it back in quickly, and the Yankees have tied the game. Chase Edley, 18th RBI.
So both walks in the inning end up scoring. First the walk to Jacoby Ellsbury scores, and then Mark Teixeira on this double off the bat of Chase Edley. Excuse me, Chris Young on the double off Chase Edley. I was wrong. Scorecard's messed up.
And the Nats fans are trying to boo down some "Let's go Yankees" shouts here. 7th man to bat in the inning, Jose Pirela, who bounced out to Desmond first time up. Probably one of Chase Edley's best right-handed swings this year. That's only his 11th hit from the right side of the plate. And with the changeup, Gio behind another hitter. He goes off speed again, 2-0. Nissan will track strike one.
Well, he got all the ground balls with his sinker tonight. It's been as good as I've seen it this year. You just have to remind yourself, stay aggressive with that fastball.
On the inside edge.
Good frame by Ramos to get that call.
2 balls, 2 strikes. Runners at second and third. Big inning for the Yankees. And that'll be a breaking ball in the dirt, and Marvin Hudson says no swing. That chopper staying fair, hits the bag, base hit. Bases loaded, 2 outs, but McCann could only stand there, figuring that if he starts home, Escobar will pick it up and throw him out.
I think Escobar made the right decision. He didn't have a chance at Pirela. Once that ball started rolling, he was back. And he was hoping it went fair, and it kind of came back. Watch this. Right there, you're thinking it's going foul. Look at it take a right turn. I don't know if it hit a cleat mark or what, but it was rolling foul. And it almost hit McCann in the foot.
Lefty-lefty matchup now with the number 8 hitter, Stephen Drew. Three hits in the inning, 2 walks. Got to get in the strike zone early in the count against this guy, and he does. .33-pitch inning so far. Still a chance to get out of it with a tie. That's a good breaking ball at 79.
It started right at him, broke him back. Good pitch.
Big crowd wants this inning over. And a ball into left center. That'll put the Yankees up by 2. It's a 4-run inning for New York.
This elevated fastball right here. Had him on the curveball and tried to sneak that fastball by. I mean, you were wondering if he was going to double up on the deuce. Tried to go with the heater to put him away, and a nice swing by Drew. Denard Span's little stumble right here. There might have been a play at the plate, but once he stumbled, all bets were off. And the Yankees with a quick 4 spot here in the 4th.
Now Nathan Eovaldi, who made the final out last inning, will bat with 2 outs here in the 4th.
Blake Trinan getting loose in the Nats bullpen.
Who would have thought that 1 inning ago? Eovaldi very late for 92. Well, Carlos Beltran about to replace Jacoby Ellsbury in this game. Yeah, he's on a 9-game hitting streak. 1-1 pitch right in there. And Eovaldi, good job of not biting on that breaking ball. 2-2. The next pitch will be the 40th of this inning. And it finally comes to an end. The Yankees pick up 4. Brand new ball game. 3-4-5 coming up for the Nats. He's not going to win this time either. Number 3 in the back giving up.
See the new Teddy? Is that what we're doing here?
I'll tell you what. If they want some fans from Charlottesville area to come up to these games, Tom needs to start winning. Come on. So for the Nationals, bottom of the 4th inning, Escobar, Harper, and Zimmerman. Chris Young now will move over to center field where Ellsbury was. And then Carlos Beltran will take over in right field, and he'll lead off the top of the 5th. We're told a right knee problem for Jacoby Ellsbury. Yadel Escobar. Fly ball, right field corner, fouled out to Chris Young first time. We'll see how Eovaldi reacts after sitting on the bench for a long time. 40 pitches, 25 strikes for him through the first 3, and he's retired 7 straight since the Bryce Harper first inning home run. Good sinking action under the bat of Escobar. Good idea in the breaking ball. And a man with a lot of hits, now 46 of them, is on base for Bryce Harper, who immediately is the tying run here in the 4th inning. For more on Bryce, here's Dan.
Bryce Harper ranks first in the NL in pretty much all the power categories: home runs, RBIs, slugging percentage. He only boosted those numbers after his first at-bat tonight. But what stats matter most to Harper? He said today that he cares most about his walks, on-base percentage, and run totals. He loves hitting homers, obviously, but he wants to set the table. He wants to be the guy on base for Ryan Zimmerman, for Wilson Ramos, for the guys behind him in the order, and he loves scoring runs. He says, if I'm scoring, that means we're doing good things.
37 times so far.
Appointment TV, Bryce Harper's up. Text your friends. It's going somewhere hard.
And Eovaldi unable to swing the 97 back to the inside edge.
In case you missed it yesterday, I don't think a lot of people know that since Bryce Harper's 3-home run game, a game that he hit in the cage, he hasn't hit on the field since. He hits in the cage every single day. And if we get a pitch, I'll tell you why. You know, a lot of times guys get big in batting practice. They like to see how far the ball is going. You kind of get out of your rhythm a little bit, and you hit too many home runs. So in the cage, it's more of a controlled environment. You work on line drives. You're not as geeked up. And I think it's the wave of the future, personally. I think as teams get tired in August and September, more and more teams aren't going to take BP on the field. A lot like infield. You remember how teams used to take infield all the time? Now you don't see them take infield. I feel like in years to come, maybe sooner rather than later, you're not going to see teams taking batting practice on the field in order to conserve energy.
That'll be interesting to keep an eye on. Yeah, you can shorten some of those dog days, can't you?
Yeah. Hit twice a week on the field and take the other 5 days and save your energy.
Shift is on, 2-0 pitch. And Bryce will take a fastball on the outer edge.
Come out, take your infield early, around 3 o'clock, then go back in the clubhouse and hit individually in the cage. Be fresh in August and September. .75 on the curveball, and Eovaldi missing, and he's in a danger count right here. Mercedes-Benz will track it. Well, what do you do here? Do you give in? I mean, you got a runner on first, nobody out. You can't walk Bryce Harper. I'm thinking fastball in. Let's see where they go. Just shook off fastball and a fastball away.
Yeah, the guy in the on-deck circle who's in the top 5 in the league in RBIs. Outside, and Bryce draws his 37th walk of the year.
Friday, May 22nd is National Jersey Day. Wear your Nationals jersey and show your pride as the Nats take on the Phillies at 7:05. Need a Nats jersey? The main team store, we showed you where it is. It's right out there in left center field in the parking garage. Check it out. They got good stuff. Get a Nats jersey and wear it to the yard.
So the Nats a chance to answer immediately the Yankees' 4-run rally.
He's got his. He's got his. He's got his. I think she's got hers.
Ryan Zimmerman hit the ball off the end of the bat first time, and it went 380 to center field. Hauled in by Ellsbury, who's now out of the game. On the inside edge with 96. Ryan sits safely. 17 of his last 20 games. Just under 280 during that time. And if you missed it in the first inning, he's had 3 career hits against Eovaldi, 2 of them home runs. Pretty good 86 down the lane.
show me fastball, maybe to go back to that split change he's featuring. Split change, a pitch he worked on in spring training. He used to be pretty much fastball, slider, curve. It's something he's added along with the mustache.
Ryan Zimmerman, 5th in the National League with 29 RBIs. Right in there. 86.
Changeup.
Strikeout number 4 for Eovaldi. Wilson Ramos next. Riding an 18-game hitting streak. And against right-handed pitching during this streak, Wilson has been riding the ball to right field and right center quite a bit. Teixeira way off the bag at first. Perella pinching up the middle. There's Ramos with a right field swing out of play. 5 for 15 career against Eovaldi.
Nats have done a nice job of answering runs. When their opponent scores, they've done a really good job of scoring right after. See if they can do it here in the 4th.
And the breaking ball up and away, 1-1. Longest of his career now by 4 games. Longest active streak in Major League Baseball right now. D. Gordon's at 13. That was a little earlier, so right now it's all Ramos in the streak category. He got a slider, hits a double play ball to Chase Headley. Going after the runner was Bryce Harper, rather after the second baseman, but he couldn't do anything to break up the 5-4-3, and the Yankees still lead by 2. Top of the 5th inning, and here's Carlos Beltran for the first time, and he will go to center. It's in front of Denard Span. Didn't hit it hard enough to carry out there. And Beltran's aboard to lead off the 5th in his first at bat, replacing Jacoby Ellsbury.
Well, he's heated up too. 8 for his last 24. That's a hot streak. 310 average. He's 9 for his last 29 with runners in scoring position. So add to it. And they've been waiting for his bat all year.
That guy can flat out hit and drive in some runs. It's a 10-game hitting streak for Beltran now. Brett Gardner has bounced out twice, once to Espinosa, once to Zimmerman. So 4 of the last 5 Yankees have hit safely against Gio Gonzalez. And the only out was Nathan Eovaldi. The 1-0 to Gardner. And a good fastball, 91, outer half. Counts even.
I'm not seeing any difference in Gio's stuff second time around, other than he's been up with a fastball a few times. But maybe the Yankees hitters, and being a veteran ball clubber, needed one time around to see him, and the second time they got a better game plan.
That's a busted bat. Desmond to first, with Beltran down to second base for the first out. The ground ball outs keep coming. This moment in history brought to you by University of Maryland, University College. District's first Sunday game back in 18 beat the Indians 1-0 in 12. Doc Ayers, a native of Pulaski, Virginia, actually died there, and native of Snake Creek, Virginia, scored the only run, and he allowed only 7 hits.
He's still going, folks. Just running around in circles. Mom can't catch him. Having fun at the yard. He brought his picker. I love it. And he's a Doc Ayers fan too.
Doc Ayers with the Nats for 7 years, 1913 to 1819, and pitched for the Tigers.
She's saying, how about let's take it easy on the cotton candy.
Did I just see the word mouth stop?
He doesn't know stop. He's at the ballpark. He's right. Playing hard. He's a gamer. I love it.
Here's Chris Young, RBI single, first time up. The Nats were playing him to pull, and no infielder could have caught it anyway, but he singled just to the right of center to get the Yankees on the board, 1 out after the Ellsbury walk in the 4th. And this one popped up on the infield. Ryan Zimmerman takes charge. Gio hustles over to cover first. 2 outs. Next up, Mark Teixeira. Walk last time, bouncing ball to short in the 2nd.
Came into this one hitting 200 from the right side. 271 from the left side.
We talked about this a time or two before. Before the Nationals signed Jason Worth, this was a free agent target when Teixeira was leaving the Angels after the 08 season. Native of Baltimore, out of Mount St. Joseph's High School. Said he wanted to play for the Yankees, play in the postseason. And he was able to do that his first 4 years in New York. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Could have done that here too, but we would have never seen Adam LaRoche, so I'm okay with that.
Born in Annapolis, he set Maryland state records for homers, RBIs, and runs. Graduating from Mount St. Joseph's in '98. "34 years of age now, Mark Teixeira. Coming off 3 injury-filled seasons. And he jets one to left, and that baby is way out of here. That's halfway up the seats to the concourse, and the Yankees lead 6-2. His 12th homer of the year.
Ball's flying here tonight. Flying. And watch him stay back on the off speed. He kept his hands back. And just a hair out front, stays through the ball. You see the lift in the swing, and just gets the barrel to the baseball. And this one, folks, went a long way. Yankees are thinking to themselves, this place a bandbox.
Only the second homer given up by Gio Gonzalez this year. The Nats staff has only given up 25. Brian McCann 0 for 2. Ball 3. Gio due to bat third in the 5th. And the Nats are down by 4. As FP mentioned, Blake Treinen warming up an inning ago. And the bullpen pretty fresh coming off the West Coast swing. As we mentioned, all 8 relievers made only 1 appearance in those 7 games. This one popped up right side into the twilight. Ryan Zimmerman can't see it. Espinosa can, and Danny makes the play. Bottom 5 coming up. Espinosa, Taylor. We'll see about the number 9 spot. 4-run game. Produced to retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals.
Folks, you can join us this Saturday, May 23rd. The Nats are going to host Women in the Military Day. It's part of the Patriotic Series. It's presented by the SAIC. Honor our women in the military. We'll enjoy an exciting matchup between the Nats and Phillies. 4:05 start. Don't forget that. The SAIC designated charity will be Women in the Military Service for American Memorial Foundation. Visit nationals.com to purchase your tickets today. Come on out Saturday.
Very nice. It's right before the Nats will spend Memorial Day in Chicago.
That could be dangerous.
How so? I'm curious.
Could be dangerous. I'm just saying.
Danny Espinosa up the middle first time, and a ground ball taken in by the shortstop Stephen Drew, who right now is the closest infielder to the second base umpire Chris Siegel. Evaldi spins the breaking ball and misses. 1-1. Evaldi threw 56 pitches, 33 strikes, and the double play ball was huge for him last inning. Kept the Nats from scoring, maybe tying the game, and then Teixeira hit one out of here to make it a 4-run advantage. 2-1.
Good take, just missed.
Now it's A.J. Cole for the Nationals. I see Clint Robinson in the dugout with a bat and a helmet. Looks like he'll be hitting for Gio. Third man up this inning. Fastball outside.
Well, if you're Matt Williams, the bad news is your club is down by 4 runs. But the good news is the ball is flying out of this yard tonight, so you get a few base runners on. Everybody in your lineup has pop. This game is far from over.
Espinosa, healthy hack at 96. Danny came in hitting .244 from the left side. Still looking for his first career hit against Nathan Eovaldi. Jammed. Fights it off.
Carp, you've been doing this 32 years. Have you ever seen a ballpark play as big as Nats Park does when it's cold and as small as Nats Park does when it's warm?
No.
I've never seen
changes dramatic.
Change like this one does. It goes from one of the bigger parks in baseball when it's about 60 degrees or below to one of the smaller parks in baseball when it's in the 80s, 90s, or even higher. And I would like Bill Nye the Science Guy to tell me why.
Espinosa out of play.
Somebody. I don't know if it's because it's below street level and add the heat.
Yeah.
It's in a bowl.
Well, you know, my recollection goes back to the 80s and the early 90s when several ball clubs were still playing in the cookie cutter stadiums.
Right.
And they were big. They were big when the weather was cold. And then places like Cincinnati and Pittsburgh and St. Louis and Atlanta would get hot and muggy, and then look out, bombs away.
Right. I mean, it's true for all ballparks with the weather, but in my 26 years in professional baseball, I've never seen a park change like this one does.
Well, the hitting coaches like it after about the 10th of May. April, so frustrating for Rick Shue. I mean, he knew he had the horses. Results just weren't there. 3-2 pitch and a good at bat by Danny Espinosa. The Nats need base runners. They're going to be pinch hitting after Taylor, so that could be big. Eovaldi's second walk of the night.
Another good at bat by Espinosa, and that's the last thing Eovaldi wants to do is walk a guy up by 4. I'm no rocket scientist, but I say load him up for Bryce Harper. That's a pretty good game plan if you're Matt Williams, don't you think?
Yeah. I think even a really good analyst could come up with that.
Yeah. I'm not one of those either, so I just think
you nailed it. Give Clint Robinson next, and then the top of the order, but Harper's still a ways away. I'd like to see him loaded up for anybody right now, the way this ball club as a whole is swinging. And that's a fastball up and away. 1-1 to Michael A. Taylor. He got worked over on breaking balls by Eovaldi. And when you look at Michael's young career in the big leagues, that's the big adjustment he's going to have to make. Nasty sliders that start out as strikes. Like that. 1-2.
And it's a hard adjustment because you can't look for it as a hitter. You got to be on the fastball. You can sit on a slider every now and then, but you know it's something that you have to just keep working at, and it's more of a mindset. Thinking about right center field, it kind of takes care of that pitch naturally.
Nats have done more running. They stole 5 bases on the road trip last week, 10 on the season. Only the Dodgers have stolen fewer, but not much of a running situation here, down by 4. 1-2 to Taylor. Able to stay with it and to foul it out of play, right side. Mets have picked up a couple of runs. St. Louis was up 4-0. 4-2 now, bottom of the 5th. New York a game ahead of Washington, NL East. Yankees a game up on the Rays in the AL East. The Nats are in the streakiest division in baseball. Mets, Nats, and Braves have all won 3 in a row. Phillies have won 6 straight. And then the Marlins have actually lost 4 straight.
A lot of throwovers up by 4. Yeah. And I know the Nats do run when they're down more than most teams, but that's a little too preoccupied in my mind, up by 4 runs.
Yeah, especially after you just walked a guy trying to get back in the strike zone. Taylor will bounce it foul right over to Bob Henley. So the Nats a game back. Braves a game under 500. Marlins with a new manager lost their first game after the departure of Mike Redmond. AL East, the Rays playing well lately. Rest of the division under 500. Two and two.
But how many times do you see the Nats come back this year? And what's the #1 reason? Pitchers with a lead nibbling. I mean, we've seen it 5, 6, 7 times this year. Guys that have a comfortable lead and they're less than aggressive with their stuff on the mound. And I don't know if it's trying to protect your ERA. I don't know what it is, but you're kind of seeing it here with Eovaldi minus that last pitch. You throw 98 with a 4-run lead, go right after guys and trust your defense. Pound that strike zone with an almost 100-mile-an-hour fastball. And you really, I mean, you can't just lay it in there, but pitch to a corner, be aggressive with the heater, mix in a wrinkle like this with 2 strikes. I've seen it time and time again. I don't know if guys are trying to get contracts and worried about their ERA versus wins and losses. But it's happened a lot, more than I can remember in such a short time this season.
Well, Julio Teixeira, the case in point that got this thing all started for the Nats. In that Atlanta game when the Braves were up twice, early innings by 8 runs. And Teixeira suddenly became a finesse pitcher.
And it could be that, you know, hey, that's a tough lineup to negotiate through when you're pitching against the Nats. And guys know they have to be careful, but you know, I've just seen guys be more than careful. And next thing you know, it's a tie ball game.
So here's Clint Robinson, 2 for 15 with an RBI as a pinch hitter. But a power bat off the bench and a first pitch breaking ball is ball 1 low. So Gio Gonzalez goes 5 innings, 6 hits, 6 runs. Walked a couple, 1 strikeout. Gave up a big homer to Teixeira. 85 pitches, 51 strikes. 55 of those pitches in the last 2 innings he threw. And now Robinson ahead 2-0.
Night started so well for Gio, and then all of a sudden wheels came off in the 4th. 9 ground ball outs to start this game. He was perfect through 3.
He ended up with 12 on the ground.
And Joe Girardi cannot like what he's seeing right now from Nathan Eovaldi.
Walked Espinosa, long count on Taylor. 3-0 Robinson. Then if he turns the lineup over with 2 men on base, this could get interesting quickly. Very short lead by Espinosa. 96 in there. And Robinson rips one to right. That will one-hop the scoreboard. Espinosa motoring to third. Bob Henley will send him, and this is a 6-3 ball game. That's Clint Robinson's first extra base hit as a pinch hitter.
Well, that's a good at-bat off the bench. You get into a 3-1 count, get your pitch right out over the plate. Joe Girardi's shaking his head because Nathan Eovaldi's picking. He's up by 4 runs. And he's pitching to a corner, falls behind again. And Clint Robinson, who's been a little bit dinged up with a shoulder that's been biting him every now and then. I think that's why you haven't seen him pitch hit in a while. Told me before the game it's feeling better. Comes through with a big double here in the 5th inning off the bench. Nicely done.
Clint Robinson with his 9th hit as a Nat. His 12th as a big leaguer. Cups of coffee with the Royals in 12 and the Dodgers last year. A 30-year-old rookie delivering right there. Here's Denard Span, and he goes up the middle for a base hit. Robinson will hold at third, and the Nats putting hits together for the first time tonight.
And this is a tough decision for Joe Girardi. I mean, his pitcher's out there with a 3-run lead. He has to get through the 5th to qualify for this win. But the way he's pitching not to lose rather than pitching to win. A free base runner falling behind the count. A double and now a single to Denard Span. Nice hold by Bob Henley. And the line moves to Ian Desmond. Game on. Line is moving, folks.
Phone rings in the Yankee bullpen, and Justin Wilson just took his warm-up jacket off. Desmond is homered and struck out tonight. And suddenly, just like that, the tying runs in the batter's box.
And if you're Ian Desmond, you have to know that you have a pitcher that's struggling right now. You're looking for a belt-high fastball out over the plate, and you're thinking up the middle the other way. Don't help him out. He's on the ropes. And he's still throwing over. I guess
almost threw it away. So there's the left-hander, Justin Wilson. Veteran Andrew Miller from the left side. The Yankees closer right now. He's been fantastic for them. We'll worry about that later. Right now, middle of the ball game with the Nats threatening. Desmond a check swing.
It's a big at bat in this ball game right here.
Third base, Clint Robinson, who delivered the pinch double in a 6-3 game. And then Span gets a base hit. Outfield around to the right for Ian Desmond. And that's up and in. Well, Desmond finally made it to double-digit RBIs on that opposite field drive in the first inning. He's on a 5-game hitting streak. And he will stroke one off the glove of Drew into center field. Scoring is Robinson, and now the score is 6-4. Desmond adds another RBI.
But a nice job of staying through the off-speed pitch right there. And decision time for Joe Girardi. What does he do? I mean, it's all about the ball club winning the game, right? And right now his pitcher's on the ropes. Goes with the curveball. Desmond fooled, keeps his hands back, stays through it nice. And watch Drew. He almost catches this. And maybe should have.
And maybe the only thing keeping Eovaldi in the game is the right-handed hitting Escobar. Because if this goes on, would he even be allowed to face Bryce Harper? Surely that's why they have the lefty Wilson throwing. Escobar base hit last time, his 46th hit of the year.
And now you got to pay attention to Span and Desmond on the bases. Ian Desmond going to be Hawkeye and Denard Span in front of him. If he goes, he's got to get a good jump on the back end too.
Yeah, with Teixeira way off the line at first, Ian can just about go meet the first baseman. A lot of things happening here. That's up the middle and a base hit. Span coming around. Waved him home, did Bob Henley. It's 6-5. And will Girardi go to the lefty with Bryce Harper coming up?
I mean, I think he has to. I mean, it all started with a great at-bat by Danny Espinosa. Leadoff walk down by 4 runs. And then a nice at-bat by Taylor that didn't finish the way he wanted it to. Clint Robinson off the bench got to a 3-1 count, base hit. Denard Span base hit. Desmond, a nice job on an off-speed pitch. And Yunel Escobar getting in on the party with the base hit up the middle, scoring Denard Span. And that's going to do it for Nathan Eovaldi. And we've seen it so many times this year. Guys with big leads that are less than aggressive. And this is what happens every single time.
4 hits in a row by the Nats. They got the signal that Wilson is ready. It'll be the lefty against Bryce Harper, and he's done some damage against lefties lately. The Nats are back in it and on the verge of tying or leading.
Bryce Harper. It's important for the Nationals to chip into this Yankees lead now before we get into the 8th and 9th innings. That's when Dellin Betances and Andrew Miller would be in play for the Yankees, and they have been fantastic for this team this season. They've delivered 38 2/3 innings, have not allowed an earned run. The two of them combined to hold opposing hitters to a 0.94 batting average. You never want to get to a team's late inning relievers trailing. That's especially the case against the Yankees with Betances and Miller.
David Carpenter, former Atlanta Brave, hard-throwing right-hander. So this could be a one-batter appearance for Wilson. Bryce Harper 0 for 1 career with a walk against him. Harper a home run, a walk tonight. What else is new? Strike one.
That's a cutter right there. He throws it almost 20% of the time. Fastball average is 95, and he has a curveball as well at 82. But pretty much fastball, cut fastball.
Outfield playing Harper absolutely straight away. He's been using the whole field with power. That's on the outside edge with a heater. 0-2. 12 straight games on base, not just once, but 2 times or more. And 2 more tonight.
That was a nasty pitch at 96 on the black. Not a whole lot you can do with that one. See if they go out there again.
1 out, 2 aboard. 3 runs home. And a good take by Bryce. And Brian McCann keeps it in front, freezing Desmond at second, Escobar at first. Ian got the RBI single after the Robinson double and the Span base hit. And then Escobar made it 6-5 with his RBI single. Leadoff walk, spelling trouble for the Yankees and Eovaldi here in the 5th inning.
Got to go with that fastball away again, don't they?
You've seen a couple of those leave the premises to left field.
Tried.
Yeah, he tried. It was low, 2-2, and the plate discipline of Bryce Harper continues to be so impressive this year. Big crowd, big stage. You're playing the Yankees. American League getting a look at Bryce Harper here. Nats' 4th interleague game of the year after playing 3 up in Boston a week into the season. And a step off by Wilson. Bryce hits a ball right at Perella, and the Yankees will turn a 4-6-3 double play ball. So they get the ultimate from their left-hander in what was probably a one-batter appearance by Justin Wilson.
6-5 Yankees. Got a good one going on, folks. Ballpark's playing small tonight. Warm night here at the Yard, and the story so far has been the long ball. Ian Desmond, first time up, his third of the year. Hit the tar out of this one to right center field. And watch Bryce Harper just smooth this one out for number 15. And watch Teixeira right here. Harper and Teixeira both staying through the ball. Very nice. 375th career home run for Mark Teixeira. Not a real hard swing either. He smoothed that one halfway up the bleachers in left field. So ball's flying, a lot of offense. And it's up to Blake trying to keep that 98-mile-an-hour fastball down in the zone.
Yeah, they warmed him up. Then they warmed up A.J. Cole, and then Treinen gets the call. And as we've seen recently, an ideal situation for him, FP. He's done so much starting in his career, minor league and major league, that he can settle in for a couple of innings and throw all of his pitches here. Chase Headley, leadoff man. One of the few Yankees that's faced him before, and that's a ground ball that Espinosa handles. And Chase Headley now is 1 for 4 career against Blake Treinen.
Well, Blake did a nice job the other night in San Diego coming on for the injured Doug Fister, and I talked to him about that appearance. And he said, you know, when I come in the 8th inning, it's usually the phone rings, rush, get my 8 pitches in, there's a situation. He said, I knew I had the 4th inning, so I could kind of get into a routine in the bullpen, and it wasn't rushed. And like we speculated on the broadcast, he had time to get into his rhythm. He had time to make adjustments on the mound. And he was telling me about just how he's been free and easy and getting that good sink. When he throws 97, 98, the ball doesn't sink as much. And he said he's trying to sit right around 94, 95.
Perella, hot shot, backhand Espinosa. And Treinen, with that heavy sinker of his, comes out and throws a couple of ground balls. 14 ground ball outs by Gonzalez and Treinen now. And it'll be the number 8 hitter, Stephen Drew, next. Drew, big 2-run single for the Yankees last time up, and even Danny Espinosa can't reach that one. So that'll give Garrett Jones a chance to pinch hit for Justin Wilson, who came in and got that huge double play ball. Jones, another Yankee who has faced Treinen before, just once, a base on balls. Garrett Jones only 6 for 38 this year, 0 for 2 as a pinch hitter. But a left-hander with pop, and the Nats will go into a shift. That was the shoulders and head of Yunel Escobar. You saw running through your shot there. He'll go out and play an up-the-middle position. Stephen Drew 0 for 1 stealing this year. Right in there with 96. I mean, the ball just explodes out of his hand.
Well, you know, Blake Treinen, if he could master, check it out on Mercedes-Benz pitch track, that run back fastball to lefties in the mid to upper 90s. You know, that's something that if he can do that, he'll be fine. And that.
Ooh, nasty on the hook.
But lefties have had more success against Blake. But I'm telling you, as a left-handed hitter, if you could throw that right at my front hip at 96 and run it back for a strike, I have none chance of hitting it. Unless I'm number 34 and playing right field for the Nats. Other than that.
1-2. Goes with another breaking ball. Yankees box. You can cram it all into the 4th and 5th innings. 4th inning RBIs by Chris Young, a base hit. The Headley double, and then the big 2-run single by Drew. Teixeira His 12th of the year, the big blow, the 2-run homer in that 5th inning. But then the Nats answered with 3. And a swing and a foul tip, and it just fell out of Wilson Ramos' mitt. Swing and a miss on 97 away. Blake Trinan puts up a 0. Zimmerman, Ramos, and Espinosa coming up. 11 pitches, 10 strikes in that 6th inning. In our nation's capital, 6-5 Yankees. Honda up for the Nats in the bottom of the 6th. Ryan Zimmerman this month hitting over 275. Look at the RBIs. Wilson Ramos continuing that hitting streak up to 18 games. And then Danny Espinosa, power game lately, hitting nearly 290 with 3 home runs. And all of that coming out of the number 8 spot. Here's right-hander David Carpenter, who along with Jordan Walden were the primary setup guys for Craig Kimbrell in Atlanta the last couple of years. So the Nats have seen plenty of this guy's mid-90s to high 90s heat in the last couple of years. Ryan Zimmerman is 0 for 4 with 3 strikeouts against him. 5.27 ERA, though. The transition to the American League has not been good for David. He's going to get a 1-pitch ground ball out as Drew throws out Zimmerman. Yeah, Ramos and Espinosa the next 2.
Fastball down a clip for Carpenter this year. It was 96 last year. It's 94.8 this year. Slider at 85. Rarely throws the changeup. 1% of the time at 90.
Wilson Ramos 0 for 7 against him. Nobody on the Nationals has had a homer against this guy. And Ian Desmond is the only Nationals player currently with even an extra base hit. 2 doubles against David Carpenter. That's how tough he was to hit as a Brave. What a night for Ian Desmond so far. 2 for 3 homer, single, 2 RBIs. 2-0. A little bit low at 97, ball 3.
One-run game. You got a guy with some pop. Why not? Green light.
There it goes. Green light indeed. See you later. Tie game on Ramos' second of the year.
Ball is hammered. You see Wilson Ramos so many times go in right center field, but when he gets ahead in the count, he'll cheat and try to catch it out front. And the Buffalo just tied this game at 6 with a 3-0 green light and a tater over the Yankees bullpen. That ball was absolutely crushed.
First home run in quite some time. What a way to go to 19 consecutive games on the hitting streak. And the Nats have hit 3 long balls tonight. Espinosa 0 for 1 with a walk and a run scored. Definite momentum shift. Gio is off the hook. Target away. Espinosa showed bunt.
I think he was going to bunt that to shortstop. I really do.
Bang.
3-0 fastball up and in. Pull the hands in. Catcher out front. Tie ball game. And watch where this one lands. Wow. No, I'm serious. He was trying to draw Headley in right there, and there's nobody on the left side, and you bunt it hard to shortstop. I've seen Espinosa practice that in BP.
That's Wilson Ramos' first homer since April 11th against Cole Hamels at Philadelphia. And we remarked that during the early part of his hitting streak, it was all singles. Then the doubles started coming. And now the home run to go with one in the first inning by Desmond and one by Harper. And then 5th inning RBIs by Clint Robinson off the bench, Desmond and Escobar. And the Nats have come back to equalize. Crowd still buzzing about that long ball they just saw. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Did he go? No, says Chad Fairchild.
Wilson Ramos wasn't telling Ian Desmond he got jammed on that and showing him his hand, was he? There's no way. He was showing him his thumb. Maybe it's swollen from blocking a pitch and he still hit it that far. But check out his May, 375.
Yeah, and it's not like he was horrible in April. He was good in April, but tremendous this month.
He's telling Escobar how strong he is right now.
2-2. Espinosa hooks one foul. Boy, this offense has been something else. By the way, with that home run, the Nationals have now scored 200 runs this year. It took them till about 2 weeks ago just to score more runs than they had given up. And now it's a plus whatever, nearly plus 30 for the Nats this year. Espinosa can't catch up with 96. Upstairs, 2 outs.
You know, the game in Atlanta on the 28th was so important for so many reasons. You know, as a ball club coming out of spring training, you're trying to find your identity, and the Nats were searching. And for lack of a better term, Dan Uggla the night before said it's time to man up. Since that game, the Nats have been 15-4. And the reason I'm bringing that up is once you check that box, you're down by 8 runs. As a ball club, all of a sudden you have your identity. We're a team that fights. We're a team that comes from behind. And no deficit is insurmountable. I think you're seeing a good example of it here again tonight. They've come back again.
Michael A. Taylor, ground ball to Perella. So the Nats are gone in the 6th. But they have blasted their way to 3 solo homers tonight. And Wilson Ramos just hit one a mile. 3-0 pitch, way out of here. Washington back even with New York.
to left center field. Sunday, May 24th, it's the Nats and Phils 1:35 start. Be one of the first 10,000 fans in attendance and receive the 10th anniversary poster presented by the Potomac Nationals. All right, visit nationals.com to purchase your tickets today. Thanks, Sim.
Another inning for Blake Treinen. 11 pitches, 10 strikes, giving up 1 hit in the 6th. So trying to settle this game down for the Nats. So far, so good. He faces Carlos Beltran for the first time. Beltran a base hit to start their 5th inning. 2 outs later, Mark Teixeira hit one a mile to put the Yankees up at that time 6-2. On a pitch tailing away, fly ball that'll move Taylor a little deeper and toward the corner. 1 out.
Even if that ball carried that far.
Yeah, when I saw Zimmerman off the end of the bat go 380 in the first inning tonight, that kind of night here in D.C. Here's Brett Gardner 0 for 3. Wilson Ramos, way deep. Gardner has hit 3 ground balls tonight against Gio. Escobar on the grass at 3rd. And this ball laced out to center. Denard Span going back in case it had another gear, and he grabbed it. 2 quick outs. Treinen due to lead off, bottom of the 7th. Trying to give Matt Williams 6 outs here. And then the only other Yankee other than Headley and Jones who has faced him steps in here, and that's Chris Young. A 1-for-1 career with a single against Blake Treinen.
Yeah, tonight's Tuesday, but it's got a Friday night feel, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does. Everybody kind of excited. The team coming back after being gone for a week. 5-2 road trip.
Bryce,
the Nationals winning 10 of their last 13 road games.
Bryce, the hottest player on the planet. The Yankees in town. Boom.
Yeah. Young 1 for 3 RBI single in the 4th.
You know, beat writer from the Daily News asked me today, how hot is Bryce Harper? And I stopped him in his tracks and I said, that's an insult to Bryce Harper right now. He's not hot. He's just playing like he's capable of playing. Yeah. When you say somebody's hot, you're saying that he's playing better than you think he could. He's not. That's just how good he is right now.
Well, Blake Treinen right now pitching as well as we hoped he could in a situation like this. Hyundai 7th inning stretch in Washington, D.C. Mr. Jefferson's Memorial beautifully lit and quite a ball game. Nats and Yankees. The other guy's the actor. Difo with his first major league at bat right here. Called up by the Nationals today after hitting .320 at Potomac, A ball, high A ball, and then .308 at Double-A Harrisburg. He's got some pop, great speed, switch hitter.
I'm nervous for him right now.
Spot opens up when Jason Worth goes on the DL, retroactive. Back to Saturday, faces right-hander David Carpenter out there for his second inning.
First big league at bat.
And he's hacking. Popped up, foul ball. And just over the screen. Not a whole lot of room here like most of the new ballparks. And Brian McCann, no chance.
Good season working in the minor leagues, .315 average.
24 years of age, 6', 195, Santiago de los Caballeros of the Dominican. Signed with the Nats at the age of 18, just over 5 years ago. Target in, hacking again, base hit! First major league at bat, right up the middle cleanly. And that's the lead one aboard, and this guy's got some speed to go with it. He didn't wait long, did he?
Oh, I got goosebumps.
And by the way, this young man has stolen 127 professional bases.
96-mile-an-hour fastball, not a problem. Welcome to the big leagues, Wilmer. You know, it's something Matt Williams hasn't had off his bench this year. Nats fans know a legitimate leadoff guy off the bench to start an inning when you're down by one, tie ball game. Major League Baseball authenticator guy putting the sticker on his first big league hit. Welcome to the big leagues. That was awesome.
There's Denard Span. Yeah, you're right. More of a power bench than a make contact, move it around the ballpark kind of guys. Now Span and Desmond. You talk about speed to burn here with this threesome here in the seventh.
And I like that Matt Williams got him into a game in his first day in the big leagues. Sometimes a young player, you sit around, you get in awe of the situation.
And by the way, Wilmer Difo last year when he was the South Atlantic League MVP at Hagerstown stole 49 bases in 58 attempts. Tony Tarasco in his ear. 7 stolen bases this year at single A, double A.
Pretty big lead.
0-1. Couple of shuffle steps. Pitch out. He was not going. And the count's 1-1.
Yeah, just a little jab step. Joe Girardi thinking he was going. Fish ain't biting.
Denard Span base hit last time. He's had more than one hit, 6 straight games. Kind of locked up on 87 there. You're looking for the gas from David Carpenter.
And I think, you know, if you have a guy that's a legitimate stolen base threat in the bottom of the 7th of a tie game, you don't have to sacrifice bunt. You let Denard Span swing right here, and I think that's what Matt Williams' thinking is, because if he doesn't get a hit, you still have the stolen base. Wilmer Difo can get to second base on his own, so you don't have to bunt.
They play Span straight away in the outfield.
And you also have a guy in the on-deck circle that's capable of hitting behind runners. You actually have 2 guys in Desmond and Escobar back-to-back that are capable of hitting behind the runner in that hole created by Defoe.
Nats trying for another double-digit hit game. Bunch of them on the road trip most recently. 11 hits Saturday night. Sunday they scored 10 runs with 8 hits.
Bigger lead.
There he goes. Swing and a bouncer. Teixeira, nice backhand play to keep Difo from going to third base. Productive out. Denard Span, who took a shot, and now Desmond.
Had his base stolen too, by the way. Watch the jump in the top of your screen. Great jump. That gets through. It's first and third. Go ahead, run in scoring position. Look at the jump by Wilmer, and he wasn't even looking. He was getting his first major league stolen base no matter what.
Yeah, he heard the contact and then started looking around. That is so much fun to watch, guys who can move around like that.
Well, that's a good point, Card. The longer you play in the big leagues, he's going to realize that you can't always hear the contact like you can in the minor leagues because the crowd is so loud here. You have to roll your head and peek. You can't hear.
8 for 20 now in a 5-game hitting streak for Ian Desmond.
Minor leagues, you can hear your family talking up there. Here you can't.
Fastball in on here. Desmond against Carpenter, career 2 for 8, as I mentioned earlier. Couple of doubles. And as we mentioned when we saw the lineup tonight with Worth on the DL, Desmond's been good in the number 2 hole, and he could benefit the most from this situation. Jason, left wrist contusion. Slider down. Bouncing ball to short. Difo does the right thing and retreats. 2 down. It'll be up to Escobar whether the inning continues and Bryce Harper gets up here in the 7th.
Great spot for him to hit, right? First base open, 2 outs. You got the ultimate protection in Bryce Harper on deck. And Yunel Escobar this season been feasting off hitting in front of Bryce Harper. He's going to see something to hit right here, because they don't want to pitch to Bryce Harper.
Yeah, he's been in the American League for the last 5 years, so he hasn't seen David Carpenter. First career matchup. And a really good block by Brian McCann. Everybody gets a little jumpy with speed like that on the bases.
Well, he can score from second with 2 outs just as easy as he's going to score from third. Only thing, if you get to third, maybe that takes that pitch you just saw away.
Outfield slightly around to the right against Escobar. 2 more hits tonight. And a big breaking ball that he couldn't reach. Yunel Escobar, 47 hits on the year now. Wearing it out here. 11 of his 14 RBIs.
Well, he's hitting .326, so he ain't doing too shabby on the road either.
Human backstop. Brian McCann again, 2-1. Right. By the way, the Mets are getting pounded now by St. Louis. 10-2 ball game, 7th inning up at Citi Field. The Nationals could be tied for first at the end of the night. Two-one count. Harper on deck.
I mean,
and Escobar's got to see something right down the middle here, doesn't he?
Well, my point about him seeing something to hit because Bryce Harper's on deck, you'd think would happen, but I couldn't be more wrong. I mean, it's all he's seen is sliders in the dirt right here. Like they're pitching around him to get to Bryce, or they're just hoping he fishes. I'm not getting this right now.
Well, they do have a left-hander, Chasen Shreve, who's been up and throwing. Harper's already seen Justin Wilson tonight.
I mean, I understand you got 333 standing in the box.
Right in there, 98, and the count goes full. There's Chasen Shreve, who's made 11 appearances for the Yankees and has a .235 ERA. Escobar gets a slider. He's aboard with 2 outs. And the next move is up to Joe Girardi.
That's a big league at bat. Didn't force the issue. Didn't try to drive in the run. He took a shot at a 1-0 slider that he thought was going to be a fastball. And after that, he spit on everything else. Great at bat by Yunel Escobar. Now the stage is set here in the bottom of the 7th for Bryce Harper. And who else would you want up there?
Lefty-lefty matchup. Shreve and Harper in a tie game. Bryce Harper, first time up tonight against Evaldi.
In case you missed it in the first inning, off-speed pitch down. Bryce Harper dropping barrel on bat. Result, home run number 15. Put the Nats up 2-0.
Chasen Shreve came over with David Carpenter from Atlanta in an offseason deal, and irony of all ironies, was a teammate of Bryce Harper's at the College of Southern Nevada. Atlanta took him in the 11th round in 2010. Lefty-lefty matchup here. Harper 1 for 2, homer, walk, and a double play ball against the lefty Justin Wilson his last time up.
Funny part about that story is scouts came to see Bryce Harper and they got a good look at Shreve, and it moved him up in the draft just by coming to see Bryce play.
Good for him. Success by association. Pretty good hook by the 24-year-old left-hander.
Yeah, nice slider right here. Starts on the plate. Looks like a strike.
.690 Nats, .670 Yankees. Harper on 85, can't get it. 1-2. Boy, once the 5th inning, 6th inning comes and goes in a lot of these ball games, Bryce is going to be seeing a lot of situational left-handed pitchers. You better have at least 2 lefties in your bullpen when you face Washington in a series.
Well, Bryce should know what he has. He was his catcher in college, so
that's right, he was catching.
We might see another slider away.
And Brian McCann makes his 3rd good stop of this inning at least.
Spread out thick the other way right here. You got a chance against that slider. If you're at all thinking about pulling the baseball, it's going to be hard to reach that pitch, and we've seen Bryce do a nice job of using the whole field this year.
Two and 2. Harper can't get it. Ball skips into the middle. McCann, who tags Bryce out. And we're on to the 8th inning in a tie ball game. 6-6 at packed Nationals Park. DraftKings. Play daily fantasy baseball for free on DraftKings.com. Enter promo code Dugout for free entry and buy your local BMW Centers. On the World War II Memorial, beautiful on a spring evening. Bryce Harper, rough go of it against two pretty good left-handers his last two times up.
I see the arsenal for Matt Thornton. Fastball this year averaging 94 miles an hour. The slider's a breaking pitch at 84. Throw the changeup 10% of the time, according to my information, at 88 miles an hour. Opponent's hitting 139 off the Nats left-hander.
Yeah, Thornton, well known by the Yankees, not only as a teammate, but as an opposing pitcher. Most of his American League career with the White Sox. Mark Teixeira, 2 for 14 against him with a pair of doubles. Out of play. Whoa, what a job by Blake Treinen. 2 innings on 1 hit. 2 strikeouts, 18 pitches. He missed with 1 of them.
What's wrong with
while
him?
Getting 6 outs.
What's he thinking? Throwing a ball.
Got to keep him honest a little bit. Up and away, 1-2. And then Aaron Barrett getting ready. So Thornton gets Teixeira and McCann. Then we'll see how Matt Williams plays it against Headley, who will be batting right-handed if Thornton is still around. Teixeira 1 for 2, a walk and a 2-run homer. 2-2 pitch. Thornton missing away. Mark Teixeira, second in the American League in home runs now to Nelson Cruz and his 15. He's up with the RBI leaders at 30. Up the middle. It hits Thornton. Zimmerman will pick it up, but nobody there to help him. Matt Thornton took him a moment to gather himself after taking that line drive.
Well, can't blame him for not getting over here. This ball was scorched right back at him. Hits him in the right knee, it looks like. Ricochets over to Ryan Zimmerman. The only chance he's got is to give it to Thornton, who made a valiant effort just to get that far after getting smoked in the lower half.
Matt Williams out.
That's I'm going to be okay for about 15 minutes, and then I am toast, because that's going to get tight.
Steve McCaddy, assistant trainer Steve Gober.
Maybe take a few warm-up pitches. That's on his landing leg, and see how it feels, the stability in it. He's good. Check it out. Gets him in the right knee, right? Ooh, like on the inside of the right knee. Yeah, didn't know where the ball was. As soon as he did, hustled to first base. Nice try. Good swing by Teixeira. Go ahead and run aboard here in the 8th for the Yankees.
Lefty-lefty matchup now with Brian McCann, who's 0 for 1 career against Matt. And McCann 0 for 3 tonight. Time given. .94 in on the hands for a strike.
McCann hitting .241 against lefties coming into tonight. 7 for 29.
And a ball to left for Michael A. Taylor. 1 on 1 out.
Time for Toyota K's for Kids. The Washington area Toyota dealers want to help children and their families by making a donation of $37 to the Children's Inn at NIH for every strikeout by a Nats pitcher this season.
So Headley, as FP mentioned, batting under 200 right-handed this year. Although he does have an RBI double tonight. Gets the lefty Thornton here. Out of play, right side. Headley left-handed at 258. And a ball hit a long way to center. Denard Span tracking it. He has it 400 feet away for the second out.
I mean, I feel like this ball game is being played in Cincinnati or Coors Field tonight. Everything that's in the air, you're like, that's gone, that's Homer. He got him. I watched Denard Span make the adjustment, open up his belt buckle to the baseball, find the ball. Right here, he's seeing the ball kind of tail back to right. No panic, nice adjustment. And a pretty good swing from Chase Headley. A little body language from Matt Thornton. Keep that thing in the ballpark.
Can of corn, right? Aaron Barrett will get the assignment against the right-handed hitting second baseman Jose Pirela. 6-6. Yankees a man aboard, 2 outs. 8th inning.
You won't see that matchup in Potomac, but you see a lot of fun stuff. They're there through the 21st to take on the Carolina Mudcats. Come out and enjoy all you can eat Wednesday, because who doesn't love to just eat Wednesdays whole? And there's Thursday cheers with live music pregame. For all your ticket information, call the number on your screen or go to the website. And you see the Arsenal fastball 94 to 96. A little run to it. Breaking ball is a slider. It's a good one.
Barrett 22 strikeouts in 15 innings. Pirela sees him for the first time. 25-year-old second baseman, 1 for 3 with an infield hit that touched the third base bag. That's a good breaking ball there, and he's got a great slider from one side of the plate to the other.
Establish it in the zone early. Now you see the rotation as a hitter late. You have to commit, and you expand the zone, throw it for a ball.
'86 right in there. Nissan will track it.
Now you bounce one for sure. Don't have to do it here. You go fastball up to a slider, but if you're in a hurry, you can bounce one right here and hope he commits.
He goes fastball up and a laser right at Danny Espinosa. The Nats bullpen shut out baseball. Trinan, Thornton, and now Barrett. Ryan Zimmerman leads off bottom of the 8th in a 6-6 game. Lots of hits. Nats fans, if you can't make it to the ballpark, Masson has you covered. Follow at Masson Nationals on Instagram for sights around the ballpark, behind the scenes moments, exclusive contests, and a whole lot more. Search at Masson Nationals on Instagram.
He's still going, folks. He's not going to stop. He'll be running around the living room at midnight when they get home.
Alex Rodriguez at third on a double switch for the Yankees. So Chase Headley out of the ball game. He'll be batting ninth, and we'll see him up second in the ninth inning. And then Dellin Betances is the Yankees' eighth inning guy right here.
Fastball average is 96. Slider 82. Look at the numbers. This guy's been lights out, folks. League hitting 114. Lefties, what'd that say? 037? Was that right? And this guy is still going. He wants some runs. He doesn't care who's pitching.
Ryan Zimmerman ducks away from a slider that comes back in for a strike. The only Nat that's ever hit against this right-hander, Yunel Escobar, over in the American League. Zimmerman tonight 0 for 3. And he spots that slide piece and takes it. '27-year-old right-hander. They list him at 6'8", 265. Here's the heat.
Has not allowed an earned run in 19 games this season. That's 21 innings pitched.
Zimmerman can't reach the slider. The Nats have one hit since the fifth inning, so both bullpens really heating things up here.
Hit, well, a big hit you're talking about in the sixth is Wilson Ramos' home run. Is our T-Mobile game changer. Second of the year, 3-0 pitch. Tied this game at 6, about 4 rows back over the Yankees bullpen. Buffalo pointing to somebody in the stands. And let's see if he could do it again.
19-game streak. 27 for 73.
It's going to have to be to right, though. You're going to see some sliders here.
Got a fastball. Hits it out to center. Cruising for it, Chris Young. 2 down.
Just didn't have the sound. Maybe off the end a little bit. But the way it's going here tonight, you thought about it for a second, didn't you? He got a fastball, too. Just off the end. You can see it right there. And not a tough play for Young.
Bases empty, 2 outs. Danny Espinosa 0 for 2, a walk, a run scored. He drew that base on balls, leading off the 3-run fifth inning. Alex Rodriguez even with the bag at third, respecting Espinosa's speed. Taylor on deck, strike one.
See, this is where I think it's tough in interleague play when you get into other teams' bullpens. You know, when you're in your own division, you face these guys for years, you know what they have. But when you're in interleague play, you know, you can watch all the video you want on a guy, but until you get in that box and look at him, you're at such a disadvantage.
And trying to bunt in the face of Alex Rodriguez, Espinosa, strike two.
Not a bad idea. I was talking to Alex before the game. He's kind of nursing a tight hamstring. I was looking forward to the day off yesterday and a couple of days here in D.C. But Joe Girardi goes with a double switch and Alex Rodriguez in the game.
And Drew Storen apparently for the ninth, if the game's tied or if the Nats take the lead. He did not go, says Chad Fairchild, and several Yankees were headed for the dugout.
Could you hear their old dugout screaming? Joe Girardi, arms in the air. Did he go? Might have got away with one.
You have to think so, don't you? That was close. Well, when a ball club's going well, you might get that call. Then the guy does something big on the next pitch. We'll see. Not that time.
Guy's dirty.
Betances, 2 Ks. Fly ball in between. The Nats and the Yankees are going to the 9th. They've had 8, 9, and 1 due up, and 9 is A-Rod.
Celebrating 13 years. Watch every out-of-market game live or on demand in True HD on over 400 mobile and connected devices. Visit MLB.tv for details. And you see the arsenal on Drew Storen. 2-seam fastball, 4-seam fastball. He'll cut the fastball at times. 94-96. Breaking ball's a nasty slider. And he'll throw the changeup to righties and lefties at any time. 17th appearance for Storen. Sparkling ERA at 1.17 in the league, hitting 170 off the Nats closer.
First up, Stephen Drew. 1 for 2 career against Drew. And Drew's had a good night, 2 for 3, pulled a base hit last time. That's Storen with that pause in the 93, getting on the hitter in a hurry. You'll hear quite a reaction when the on-deck hitter heads for the box. And there's the changeup, 87, down and away, 1-1. That's a good one. And then another changeup. It's 3-2. So a first pitch fastball, sliders and changes ever since. And Storen jams Drew. Fly ball, right field. That's Danny Espinosa way out there with a basket catch. All right, let's listen in. Yankee fans on the third base side, standing ovation, and a boo from the other 37,000 here. Alex is having a good year. 10 homers, 22 RBIs, and he's in the top 2 in the American League in extra base hits.
I didn't hear what you said, Carp. I took my headphones off to hear the reaction. I wanted to hear it live.
I didn't have to take mine off.
That was strange. Half standing O, half boos, but the place was loud.
He has never faced Drew Storen. And he's already in the game, so he has one pinch hit homer this year. Came into play third base last half inning. And now Drew Storen has him 0-2. He's seen a couple of sliders here.
250, 10, and 22.
Another slider, just a little bit low. So the home runs surpassing Willie Mays recently. 9 RBIs away from 2,000. Storen goes slider again.
Talked to Alex before the game, and he said, you know what, you get something taken away that you love and you really appreciate it. And I haven't seen him in a long time, but he had a different look in his eye. And I think he's actually enjoying baseball again when he may have taken it for granted before. At least that's what he was saying to me before the game.
Storen got him with a fastball. Running back to the outside edge. Alex stares for a while and walks away without a word. 2 outs.
Probably thought he was getting another slider. Drew Storen pitched him backwards. What does that mean? Well, he threw him the off-speed stuff first and then finished it with a little run-back fastball. Give Wilson Ramos credit with the frame job on the back end. He's fired up. And this whole ballpark was fired up as Alex Rodriguez didn't swing the bat.
There's Carlos Beltran, has always been dangerous from the left side. 0 for 2 career against Drew Storen. And a first pitch challenge fastball pulled foul. That ball popped up a mile high into left for Michael A. Taylor, who is scheduled to lead off the bottom of the ninth. 8, 9, and 1 coming up for Washington. 6-6.
Got a tie game at 6-all as we head to the bottom of the ninth. Nice comeback for this ball club to tie it up.
Yeah, we've done a lot of that this year, haven't we? Gio started off outstanding. Just 30 pitches in the first 3 innings, 41 in the fourth as he lost his control, got behind a lot of people, and they put a lot of runs on the board. But our offense came back and swung the bat exceptionally well.
How about Ramos, the 19-game hitting streak, the biggest hit, the one that tied the game?
Yeah, right up here behind us.
Behind you.
And one of the longest home runs we've seen this year, no doubt about it, about 5 or 6 rows deep over the bullpen. Let's get them right here. Let's shut this thing down with a run right here tonight.
And to get them right here, we got to go back upstairs. Bottom of P for the bottom of the ninth, tied at 6.
All right, thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Ray. Dellin Betances still in there for New York. Dominant 8th inning, striking out Zimmerman and Espinosa. Around to Ramos. Yeah, we can hardly bear to watch. Fly ball. Michael A. Taylor. Dan Uggla comes out on deck. The only other Nationals left-handed batter is Jose Lobaton, the switch hitter, and most managers don't like to use their backup catcher. Corner infielders, even with their bags against the speedy Taylor, 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts. This will be a tough matchup for Michael. That's a slider right down the middle, and he may not see another slight piece anywhere near home plate now. Betances dominant this year, has not given up an earned run in 22 innings now. 34 strikeouts, 9 walks. The league's hitting a .114 against him.
So you're telling me there's a chance?
Always a chance.
99 on a cut fastball, no less.
Cutter 99. What is this baseball world coming to?
You just sounded 100 there, by the way.
Well, to the hitter, it probably sounded 100 when it hit McCann's mitt. Fastball blew him away at 99. Wow. 3rd strikeout against 4 hitters. And now the assignment for Dan Uggla, try to get a bat on that.
So not a straight fastball, but another cutter at 99. You see how McCann's catching that, kind of going away from Taylor? That tells you all you need to know about his fastball. That's just not fair.
You know, Dan Uggla, the guy who got this whole thing started after the Lobaton home run in Atlanta 3 weeks ago. Opposite field triple. The dramatic home run that won it for the Nats, and they haven't looked back.
With the famous saying, air quotes, man up. We just got to man up. And he said it the night before. He went out and manned up in a big way with a triple the other way, a 3-run homer to put his team ahead 13-12. And he's done a nice job off the bench for Matt Williams.
And that Pete, quite a statement coming from a guy, you know, new team, part-time player. He challenged everybody, and boy, have they responded. With him showing the way. 85, the slider, a strike, 1-1.
Well, it's just genius in its simplicity. Everyone's saying, what's wrong, what's wrong, what's wrong with the club? And their bottom line, man up.
Got a fastball, but it's 98, strike 2. Over but low. Pretty good take.
Pretty good pitch. See if it's low on pitch track too.
Big gap left center. Slider, what a good take. It's 3-2.
Yeah, I don't know how he didn't swing at that.
That was a strike for a while, wasn't it?
I swung right over the top of that in my brain. fastball. If he throws anything else, you got me. Pretty good rip. Same way. You throw a 3-2 slider here, I'll tip my cap and go back to the bench. But you're not beating me on a fastball.
Not as tough a take, but he had to get the helmet out of the way, and the winning run is aboard with 1 out in the bottom of the ninth.
You've obviously never had 98 thrown right at your head, because that was a hard take all the way.
He knew he wasn't swinging, but could he get out of there?
There was nothing easy about this take, Bob. That's 98 right at the coconut. And Dan Uggla aboard. Here we go.
After a little sigh of relief, he headed down the first baseline. Well, here's the left-hander, Denard Span.
That's where you got to look for a slider in the dirt if you're Dan Uggla. Just be on that alert. Look for something off speed that's going to bounce off McCann to advance.
97 right by him. Second left-handed hitter he's faced. Espinosa, he struck out last inning. Changeup.
You know, I like that in a tie game in the bottom of the ninth that Joe Girardi's playing his outfield pretty shallow. We talk about no doubles all the time. Why is that a big deal? Well, how many times do you see a ground ball through the infield, a team playing too deep, no doubles defense, and that runner on first just cruises into third?
Span takes a strike up in the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
I don't know that this slider came back. Did it? Not really. I don't think. Jim Joyce had a nice night back there. I think he might have missed that one. Rally caps. I see it working.
Well, Span expanding after the previous call.
Yeah, he had to protect that. He is losing some steam, folks. Yeah. I mean, he's played hard. He's played a hard 9.
He needs a closer or a walk-off.
He is hitting the wall.
Last hit for the Nats, the Ramos homer. 1 here to set up a win or get a win. Span takes it just up and away. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Was this one better than strike 2? Let's see. Strike 2 is number 4 on your screen. No, that was further out. All right.
Okay.
Jim Joyce is screaming at the Yankees dugout. Did you hear him scream? That's outside.
Yeah, that sounded like his strike call there. Span up the middle. Drew it to the bag, and we are going to the 10th inning. 6-3 double play. Both bullpens almost flawless. 6-6 after 9. With Jim Joyce a moment ago.
I think it might be Larry Rothschild, the pitching coach. Let's see. And Joyce got those calls right. Actually, if anybody should be hacked off, it should be Denard Span. One of those sliders didn't come back. It was called a strike. So Girardi's still here, but I think Larry Rothschild was the one that got ejected.
So in extra innings, the Yankees are 0-2. Both of those at Yankee Stadium. The Nats are 2-1. 1-0 here at home. That was the Escobar walk-off home run against St. Louis. So rookie Matt Grace takes over here. Top of the 10th, Gardner, Young, Teixeira.
12th appearance, ERA at 3.12, 8 2/3 innings on the year, 6 strikeouts to 3 walks. League hitting .371 off the Nats left-hander. Fastball 91, slider 81, changeup 84. And this is a guy you have to keep off the bases in a tie game in extra innings.
Gardner 10 stolen bases in 13 attempts. Lined out hard to Span in center last time up. And the Yankees seeing Grace for the first time, 91 in there. Right now the Nationals a half game out of first place again. Mets game went final. And another drive to center. This one going away from Span. He'll get it! Denard Span toward the right center gap. That's 2-3 bags or more for Brett Gardner if that gets by him.
Well, that was 3 bases, maybe more. Who knows? And from where we're sitting, we have the best view of the house. Watch this ball. It's in the gap. And Denard Span simply outruns the ball, and he never dives. He hates to dive for a baseball, but in the top of the 10th, extra innings, selling out right here, the extra gear. And I'll say the extra gear he didn't have about 2 weeks ago, folks. He's got it again. Matt Grace fired up. What a play by Denard Span. Smooth operator all the way.
Next up, Chris Young. I mean, Bryce Harper had so far to go to help out Span.
Look at that, the head perfectly still. That's how you make the great play as an outfielder. You run on the balls of your feet, you keep your head still, and a direct route, straight line right to that baseball. He knew where it was going to end up. What a play by Denard Span.
Who has to win a Gold Glove one of these years.
One of these years.
I mean, he's just been tremendous here for 2+ in Washington. Strike call, it's 2-0.
And I can't tell you how many times from our vantage point up here, we see the gaps better than anybody. We also see South Carolina better than anybody too, but he has there's so many balls that go in the gaps that you're like, that's a triple, that's a double, and he comes out of nowhere and flags it down. Unbelievable play.
2-1 to Chris Young. Great tail on that 92 right to the outside edge. Then a breaking ball that was hanging, unfortunately for the Nats. Young way out ahead.
Desmond, Escobar, and Harper due up in the 10th.
Got to think ahead in this game. Then he pulls the string on a changeup. The rookie with some savvy there after a couple of fastballs for strikes.
Well, it looks just like his fastball. Watch him turn over the changeup at 84, replicating the heater, and that's exactly what Chris Young thought he saw.
Mark Teixeira, 2 for 3, a walk, a 2-run homer, and a base hit. 92, a little low. Yankees, by the way, warming up their closer, Andrew Miller. Harper, as FP said, due up third, bottom of the 10th. They haven't had to hit for Betances. I don't know if he's got 3-inning capability, but it's almost like anybody but him if you're a Washington hitter. 3-0.
Miller's been pretty good too.
Yeah, he hasn't given up a run in 17 games.
Yeah, he doesn't have an ERA either. 17 games.
So Grace the base on balls to Teixeira. Lefty-lefty matchup. And if the inning goes any farther than this, they would have to hit for Betances. John Ryan Murphy, their backup catcher, has come out on deck. Right in there. Close to the inside edge under the hands. Had him reaching. It's right off the end of the barrel. Crowd making some noise now. They want this third out, and they want to see Desmond, Escobar, and Harper. They're going to get half of it. The other half will require a throw, and the bullpen's been great.
Smart pitching by Matt Grace right there. He had a guy that hit a home run already tonight, and a right-hander, Teixeira, pitched around him, got the lefty up there, did a nice job with Brian McCann. Coming in throwing 17 pitches, 16 of them strikes. Matt Thornton taking a BB off his knee and still getting the job done, so he chiefed it out. Nicely done. Aaron Barrett had his defense playing in the right spot behind him. Then Drew Storen came on for a spotless ninth, so the bullpen hasn't given up a run. And Matt Grace just keeping the line moving. Everybody coming in this ball game throwing strikes, doing a nice job. And we are all tied up heading to the bottom of the 10th inning. Desmond, Escobar, Harper due up.
Andrew Miller will be 30 years of age in 2 days. He's been outstanding for the Yankees. As untouchable as Betances, who just went 2 scoreless innings.
Yeah, fastball 94.3, slider 83.7 to be exact. And obviously throws him pretty equally. 18th appearance, ERA flawless. The league hitting .053.
Guy figuring things out here. Oh, Desmond went out to try to bunt that ball.
Did that hit him?
He's not acting like he's going to try to sell it at all.
Was it a strike? It's either a strike or he's on first. One or the other. It's not a ball. This ball was redirected. So either hit him in the hand or it's 0-2.
Yeah, it looked like it might have redirected off the bat.
And if I'm me and Desmond, I'm selling that right there, that it hit me in the hand. But with replay, it's hard to get away with that nowadays.
Yeah, Jim Joyce asking for help.
I think he called it a foul ball, and I think he got it right.
So it's no balls, 2 strikes. Just heard him say to the third base dugout, foul ball. John Ryan Murphy in to catch. So he's batting in the number 6 spot. And Desmond, wow, that slider almost got him on the back foot.
Everyone's trying to pick on A-Rod. Espinosa tried to bunt on A-Rod. Desmond trying to bunt on A-Rod.
Desmond career 1 for 1 with a sac fly and a base hit against Miller, and that's up and away. Ball 2.
98.
Three hits in 17 2/3 innings. 29 strikeouts. He has issued a few walks. And that's Desmond on a slider in the dirt. No chance. Next up, Escobar. Yunel Escobar 2 for 12 against Miller with a double and 3 walks. Andrew has spent most of his career lately in the American League with Boston and Baltimore. Started with Detroit, moved on to Florida. And Yunel Escobar on base 3 times tonight, adding to his .373 on base percentage. 2 more hits, 47 on the year, and an RBI. He has 14. A-Rod really guarding the bag and the line at third. Helicopter swing on a breaking ball.
You know, everybody always asks what superpower would you have if you could? You know, would you fly? Would you be invisible? Mine would be to throw 100.
With command?
Just go out there and throw 100 past everybody every night. If you can fly and you can be invisible, I'll throw 100.
Proving to be a tough matchup for right-handed hitters as well.
Just a little show me 98 to get back to the slider. Here's my near 100-mile-an-hour fastball just to show you. And I'm probably going to throw another slider.
So we just had 6-8 Betances out there for 2 innings. Or rather, Andrew Miller 6-7.
And maybe the reason why there's so many Tommy John surgeries nowadays is because guys throw 100, but they refuse to throw it, and it's all they throw is their sliders.
2-2. Stays outside. A good take by Escobar.
That was close. And Jim Joyce might have given up on this one. Let's see if it comes back. No, it was way out there.
As mentioned, Miller has walked some guys, 8 of them in 18 innings. But he's just been unhittable. Target inner half. Same pitch. Escobar takes it. For the 2nd consecutive inning, the Nats have the winning run on the board, at least on bases with 1 out.
So if you remember May 9th, let's flash him back. Bryce Harper. Off speed pitch. Drive home safely, everybody. Walk off jack. That sent this crowd into a frenzy. Yunel Escobar just saw 6 pitches. 1 was a fastball at 98. Wow. I'm betting Bryce Harper doesn't see many fastballs here. Let's see.
Harper against Miller. 0 for 1 career with a ground ball. So they have 3 lefties in their bullpen, and with this at bat, Bryce has faced all 3. Wilson, Shreve, now Miller. It got the corner.
Boy, he didn't like that. Look
and
at
Bryce thought about saying something and then just turned around.
still frustrated about that first strike call. It's easy to say up here, but you have to find a way to get that one out of your head. But like I said, easier said than done.
One on, one out, bottom of the 10th in a 6-6 game. Shows him the 95 away.
Well, check out pitch track. Look where the first strike was.
Wow. Swung at the second one, fastball outside.
Still think Jim Joyce had a nice night back there. Bryce would probably disagree at the moment, but he's been solid.
Calling balls and strikes for 12 different pitchers in this game. That went in the dirt, and Bryce Harper didn't even make a move on it. 2-2. Last run in this game was Ramos' homer in the 6th. It bounces, and John Ryan Murphy makes another good stop. 3-2 now. Right-handers to follow, Zimmerman and Ramos. And Miller coming close to putting the winning run in scoring position.
Oh, decisions. Do you look for a slider here if you're Bryce Harper? I mean, the guy throws almost 100. You got to be on the fastball. I guess adjust to the slider.
First base occupied. Bryce can't run. On the strikeout, 2 down. Can't run with less than 2 outs anyway. And it'll be Ryan Zimmerman next.
So 3-2 slider from Miller to Harper. Everybody on their feet.
And that ball hit the umpire, or else Escobar would have gone to second.
And Yankees catch a break.
Ryan Zimmerman 4 for 11 against Miller with a home run. .96 on the first pitch. Ryan hasn't had many offers lately.
It's been a while since he's had a walk-off too.
Been a big part of his career in 10 years here. He has one against the Yankees way back in '06.
Watch your toes.
Ryan Zimmerman was 21 years old when he hit this one off Chin Ming Wong.
I'm in.
And a 2-1 stays up and away. Ball game riding on every pitcher the last couple of innings.
Catch a fastball out front, see what happens. Swing hard in case you hit it.
Zimmerman to right field. Into the corner and gone! It's a homer! A walk-off for Ryan Zimmerman! 9 years apart against the Yankees.
did it. It's been since 2013 for Ryan Zimmerman, Mr. Clutch, to walk somebody off. And he did it here in the bottom of the 10th tonight against the Yankees, and it was only a matter of, is it going to stay fair?
He hit it so hard it couldn't go foul.
That was awesome. All in on the fastball. It was up and away. Rolls the wrist, gets on top of it, and it had the sound. And you're just wondering, is it going to stay fair? It's tailing, and just hits the pole. Everybody in the dugout going berserk. Gets doused at home plate. And the fans here going crazy. Drive home safely, everybody. Ryan Zimmerman.
Not the first time he has sent everybody home in this town with a smile. The Nationals are tied for first place with the New York Mets with a record of 23-17. They've now won 16 out of 20. Ryan Zimmerman trying to dry off, and Dan, it's all yours.
Ryan, what was in that Gatorade bucket?
The bucket of filth. I don't know, coffee, something other. I can taste the coffee, but I'll take it every time.
You get ahead 3-1 in the count. There's the chocolate sauce yet again. We're going to need another towel. You get ahead 3-1 in the count. Miller hasn't given up an earned run all year. What are you looking for?
Well, I mean, obviously, you know, him and Betances before, like you said, haven't given up a run. So looking for a heater out of the way and got to put a good swing on it. Didn't try to do too much, and lucky it stayed fair.
Ball carrying a little bit tonight, would you say?
Yeah, I mean, we put some good swings on pitches, though, too. So did they, and that's a really good team. A great game back and forth. Us coming back and battling back to get in it, but it's a really good team over there.
What is it about the comeback nature of this ball club? You guys have done it the last couple years. It seems like you continue to battle late in games and find a way to grind out wins.
Yeah, we just play all 27 outs, and in this case more than 27 outs, and we have a talented team. We know that we're never out of the game, and on the odd days that our pitchers don't keep us in the game, we scrap and get back for them.
Thank you, Ryan. Go dry off.
Yeah.
Clean off. Get a shower, whatever you need to do. Bob, back up to you.
A dirty ending to a really attractive ball game, and like Ryan Zimmerman said, he'll take it every time. That's Dan Coco, and for FP Santangelo, Bob Carpenter. The Nats win it in 10, 8-6. Walk-off magic continues at Nationals Park. Join us tomorrow night. It'll be Jordan Zimmerman against Adam Warren. We'll join you at 6:30 with Nats Extra. And this has been a presentation to Masson. 3 hours and 20 minutes of really good baseball. Johnny and Ray straight ahead from the booth in D.C. See you later.